Slight technical difficulty this morning, but I believe we've got things rolling here for Local News Live. We do this weekdays here on AOC Community Media, led by a wonderful group of volunteers. Bruce Cohen back in the saddle with us this morning, as many, many mornings here on the program. Thank you for joining us, Bruce.
Oh, my pleasure, Mandy. We're on Cypress Street as well. Is that true? We're on Cypress Street as well?
We are indeed. We are live on Cypress Street Radio.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mandy. I really appreciate it. And you're my main man at the helm of all the technical aspects this morning. Well, good morning, Katiana. Mandy's going to go off and listen, and I'm going to read to you today's news. We do this, like Mandy said, every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We're happy to bring you the news sponsored by the Katiana Advocate, and they give us all the journalism we need to know. They're fantastic writers here in Katiana and throughout the state. I'm going to start with the job growth rate expected to continue. Lafayette at third highest in state metro areas by Adam Nagel at Katiana Business Center. Lafayette area had the third fastest job growth among the state's metros in the second and third quarter as the state continues its recovery from the COVID-19 shutdown. Only Monroe at 7.5% and New Orleans at 5.7% had faster job growth than Lafayette's 4.8%, as every metro area in the state except Lake Charles reported job gains, according to data compiled by Gary Wagner, a Katiana business economist at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, in his quarterly Louisiana Economic Activity Forecast. Payroll employment increased by 82,000 to reach 138,000, or about 7% behind the number of jobs in the fourth quarter a year ago. It's the highest quarter-to-quarter increase dating back to 1990, he noted, but still not enough to offset 38% of the jobs that were lost in the second quarter. Growth is expected to continue at a 3% rate, with the state regaining all the jobs lost as a result of COVID-19 by the first quarter of 2022, has led to a lesser degree of uncertainty than predicted earlier this year. The next 3 quarters looking forward, I'm expecting growth to be stronger than I expected 3 months ago, Wagner said. We're not going to gain all the jobs back, but the outlook is better than it was 3 months ago. Everything but unemployment in the state was pretty good. The unemployment rate dropped from 12.9% in the second quarter to the current level of 8.4%. That drop is overshadowed by the number of people exiting the workforce, he noted. Between April and October, an estimated 9.97 million people have dropped off out of the labor force since April because of the pandemic, a detail that skews the unemployment rate to be lower than it actually is. In Louisiana, the employment population ratio dropped between August and September and now sits at 53.9%. The number of people withdrawing from the labor force is way above average, she said. Some of those people may never return to the workforce. It's on par with numbers we saw in 2008 and 2009, Wagner said. We have to be employed or you have to be looking for a job in the last 4 weeks. These are people, for whatever reason, aren't looking for a job anymore. It's a pretty significant number. What it means is there were people either working or looking for work early this year who have completely given up. Each of the state's metro areas, except Lake Charles, is predicted to have job growth by the rest of the year. Monroe, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge are expected to lead the way, he said. In Lafayette, jobs jumped to 192,700 in the third quarter, up from 183,900 in the second quarter, but still down from the 202,000 before the pandemic. In Monroe, the number of jobs bounced back to 78,300, topping the 78,200 before the pandemic, and is projected to top 80,000 in the fourth quarter, which would surpass 2019 quarterly totals. In Baton Rouge, there were 383,400 jobs in the third quarter, down from the 415,000 jobs before the pandemic. The area is predicted to get 415,400 jobs by the end of 2021. In New Orleans, there were 518,600 jobs in the third quarter, up from 490,400 in the second quarter, but still down from the 581,900 before the pandemic. Home price growth should be strong in Lafayette and across Louisiana as the real estate market remains red hot, thanks in part to lower interest rates. Baseline projection has year-over-year growth at above 3% in the next 4 to 6 quarters and will approach 4% by the end of next year. Inventory is down about 40% statewide, and that's pushing values up. Wagner said, since every 5% drop in inventory bumps up sale prices 1.5%. Home sales have exploded in Acadia since the start of the pandemic, but that may be the result of either long-time renters making home purchases or investors buying up properties and not the result of people moving to the area. COVID-19 coronavirus, the latest, and this will be a couple of stories. And this story is entitled Stay or Go. COVID-19 will achieve flights, weigh in holiday travel plans by Adam Daigle, the Acadiana Business Center. It's just over a month left of the year 2020, but it managed to get in one final jab at Catherine Shea Duncan. A Crowley native and Lake Charles resident booked a flight to Chicago for the week of Christmas just after Hurricane Laura pounded her area. For a dirt cheap price of $50 round trip, she made the leap of faith that maybe many people won't be flying then due to COVID-19 concerns. On Wednesday, she canceled her trip for the second time amid a coronavirus surge that is out of control in the Midwestern states. It's another disappointment for the public relations director who visited Lake Charles, who was also featured in a November 10th New York Times report on the city's recovery. It was like pulling the plug on something you've been looking forward to for quite some time, especially after what Laura and Delta did to us, she said. I was really looking forward to that. It was pretty difficult, but it was pretty easy to cancel online. It was a quick, bitter moment. The surge of virus cases across the country have put the brakes on travel plans for many Americans for Thanksgiving and Christmas, two traditionally peak travel seasons. The season was predicted to be down by 10% nationally compared to a year ago, said AAA Louisiana spokesman Don Redmond, with travel in Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, and Oklahoma predicted to drop by 9%. That will be the lowest drop since 2008, he noted. At least people with travel plans with a decision to make, stay or go. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on Thursday pleaded with Americans to stay put on Thanksgiving and not to spend the holiday with people outside of their household. CDC's Dr. Aaron Salver-Schatz cited more than 1 million cases in the U.S. over the past week as driving guidance. Even if people ignore the advisory, many cities are being strict with visitors. Duncan would have to have either quarantined during her stay or get tested upon arrival and face restrictions per city guidelines. About 95% of Thanksgiving travel will be done by car, truck, or SUV, Redmond said, up slightly from the usual 90%. Air travel is expected to drop by nearly half, going from 4.6 million flyers in 2019 to 2.4 million. Right now, we have a lot of people who want to go somewhere, but there's just not a lot of places they can go, said Cynthia Swain, travel consultant with Pearson's Travel World in Baton Rouge. The big factor they have to think about is who is open today, may not be open tomorrow, and they're ready to go. It's tough even in the U.S. to get point to point. It's just kind of a catch-22 right now, trying to book anything. At Baton Rouge Metro Airport, the load factor or percentage of seats that are occupied on flights should be similar to last Thanksgiving, spokesman Jim Cavanaugh said. The load factor was 78%, and this year it's currently over 70% on peak days during the holidays. The number of seats on flights out of Metro Airport has dropped by about half since the start of the pandemic. It's a decline that has been seen at virtually all U.S. airports, Cardinal said. Passenger volumes have been down about 52% from a year ago. In contrast, back in April, passenger volumes at the airport were down 95%. Cardinal said it isn't only end of the CDC guideline for cause a significant number of passengers to change their flight plans. Most people planning to travel have already booked their flights for the CDC statements, so it is a matter of whether they choose to cancel more and whether they choose not to book, he said. Air traffic at the Lafayette Regional Airport should pump up some for Thanksgiving as its sign of recent routes at the airport, Director Steve Pico said. Traffic in the past 2 weeks have picked up, and Delta will increase its daily departures out of Lafayette from 4 to 5, he said. The most recent airport data shows Lafayette had 10,000 arriving and departing passengers in September, the first month to top 10,000 since the pandemic began. The airline team noted are taking extreme safety measures on flights. Delta continues not to sell minimum seats on its flights. We're expecting a slight bump for people traveling, but it won't be anywhere near last year's numbers, Pico said. Our numbers are coming back. More and more people are getting comfortable with flying. In a normal year, we're 600 to 650 passengers a day. Last couple of days, we've been down in excess of 500. So that's not great news. One popular place that has not put in travel restrictions is Mexico, Swain noted, and Cozumel and Cancun have become popular destinations this holiday season. Destination could be ideal for those who may have canceled their summer vacation plans and are itching to go on a trip, said Megan Saunier with a travel machine in Lafayette. The drop in the airline prices makes it an easy sell. Tickets that were traditional sell for $400 to $450 were going for $230 last week, she said. Half price, basically, Saunier said. This is the most holiday travel we've probably done in the Caribbean. It's all inclusive. There's great deals right now. And we can get an airline ticket for $200 a person. It's a lot easier now for a family of 4 or 6 to travel now. People are doing it and taking the chance. As of now, Sally Brockman, who played Charles, is planning to take that chance. She's debating whether to fly to Oregon for 2 weeks around Christmas to visit her grandmother under COVID-19 conditions, or cancel the flight and stay in place. Several reports on the web debate the pros and cons of traveling. Brockman's focus is her 88-year-old grandmother, who she hasn't seen in 2 years. We were supposed to go this summer, but canceled because of the virus, she said. Even if we did see her, it would be 6 feet away and fully masked up. It would not be anything close to the normal Christmas that we're used to. I don't know what the right direction is. I'm trying really hard to be as logical and objective about it as possible, and not let my emotions cloud my decision-making process. Okay, I'm going to go to some public service announcements. By talent, urgent need for blood donations. Blood and platelet donations often drop during the holiday months as fewer donors are available because of seasonal activities and illnesses. But this year, the outlook is particularly worrisome with COVID-19. With many schools transitioned to virtual learning and businesses in work from home situations, about 1,600 by talent blood drives have already been canceled for both November and December. Currently, there is an urgent need for O-negative blood, the universal blood type that all patients can receive. O-negative donors can maximize their impact by giving a power red donation. We encourage donors to make an appointment by visiting Vitalant.org or by calling 877-25-VITAL. That's Vitalant, Vitalant.org, or 877-25-VITAL. BBB announces Thanksgiving food drive as Acadiana looks to enjoy cooler weather and a holiday season starting with Thanksgiving. It is important to remember our community during these trying times. As part of their Impact Initiative, Better Business Bureau serving Acadiana is hosting a food drive from November 30th. Food donations can be dropped off to the BBB office at 4003 West Congress Street in Lafayette and will be given to Second Harvest Food Bank in their efforts to end hunger. The BBB team will pick up donations if requested. Second Harvest suggested donation items include non-perishable foods and supplies, preferably in non-glass containers. These items include grains such as cereal, pasta, rice, and flour, evaporated and dried milk, cooking oils, canned fruits and vegetables, dried fruits, proteins including canned meats, dried beans and peanut butter, coffee, paper products, diapers, and cleaning products. And you can probably find out all the information you need by looking up Acadiana Better Business Bureau, BBB Acadiana. Request for mosquito control now available from Lafayette 311. Lafayette Consolidated Government, LCG, is increasing mosquito abatement efforts in the parish, and increasing mosquito activity is a common occurrence following a storm event. And we've had many this hurricane season, and we're still in hurricane season until November 31st. Citizens noticing an influx of mosquitoes in the area can now use the Lafayette 311 portal to request service. All submitted requests are routed directly to Mosquito Control Services and Mosquito Control Contractor for the parish. Okay, let's get back into the news. And since during the public service announcements I read about Thanksgiving donations, I want to read about another nonprofit organization in the area. Incredible work. Nonprofit celebrates groundbreaking. Habitat for Humanity provides a new start for homeowners by Kitty Gagliano. Lauren Wright hastily swept away tears as she stood in the 300 block of Georgia Street on Saturday afternoon and looked at the property that would become her future home for Lafayette Habitat for Humanity. Wright was one of 6 future homeowners who symbolically broke ground on a new round of Habitat project Saturday. Wright's home will be one of 3 houses built on side-by-side lots beginning at 31 Georgia Street, while a 4th house is planned on Remden Drive and another on Magnolia Street. A 6th home will be built in the Truman neighborhood. Each house will cost roughly $110,000 to construct, with grant funds through the Lafayette Consolidated Government's Department of Community Development, Wells Fargo, and proceeds from Habitat's Restore supporting the project. Lafayette Habitat for Humanity Executive Director Melinda Taylor said. The future 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home will house Wright, her 11-year-old son, and 3-year-old daughter. The 39-year-old single mother said their apartment in Broussard is nice, but is not where she wants her children to live their whole lives. Her son desperately wants a dog, but with no backyard and small apartment space, it's not workable, she said. Just having something that's ours where I can do what I want when Christmas time comes. We can decorate, have cookouts in the backyard, and just make a happy home that they feel safe and secure, Wright said. I want to be able to say that it's mine and I did this. Wright, who works in data entry for Schulenberger, says she went through the traditional mortgage lending process, but every home she qualified for required significant repairs but didn't meet the family's needs. It was a struggle navigating the process with her single income, she said. She stumbled on the Habitat for Humanity application by accident while searching online for affordable summer child care for her son a few years ago. There have been delays in funding for the project and additional lags because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And at times, Wright said she felt dejected, but her dream of a home like a dream of a home would never come to fruition. We try to stay optimistic, but you have your days when you think it's never going to happen, she said. After equipping her ceremonial gold shovel and tossing dirt on Saturday, Wright said she felt amazing. She's completed Habitat's home ownership classes, received credit counseling, and volunteered on work sites, including for neighbors on Georgia Street, and learned how to do everything from lay a floor to operate a circular saw, she said. Wright says she feels a little nervous but also empowered as she takes the next step toward home ownership. Mostly, she feels grateful. They found a way for me to accomplish what I've always wanted, Wright said. Taylor said the Georgia Street project meant Magnolia Street home and build on Remden Drive, part of a long-term investment in the revitalization of the Macomb Vesey historic neighborhood in Lafayette. To date, the group has built over 30 homes in the neighborhood, she said. The neighborhood historically plots large decline in home ownership over time as market policies disadvantage Black people and other minorities, pushing them toward renting instead of owning, Taylor said. Habitat has its roots in the social justice movement of the 60s, really. The very foundation of Habitat was the recognition of the obligation that people who have benefited from the system have to take proactive steps to help people who haven't benefited from it and have actually been harmed by it, the executive director said. Habitat for Humanity serves anyone who qualifies for the program and is willing to invest themselves in the process. When many future homeowners who come to Lafayette's Habitat at Black Table said, Habitat for Humanity helps future homeowners gain access to the housing market by serving as both mortgage lender and contractor for projects, providing low or zero interest mortgages. Homeowners also participate in the sweat equity system, contributing labor to their project and volunteering hours and other Habitat bills. Once in their homes, the new homeowners have a solid base to build future financial security. When residents are financially secure and can look beyond meeting their needs, they can shift their attention to investing in the community, Karen said. Home ownership increases mean good things for our neighborhood. Rentals are necessary, but there needs to be a good balance mix, she said. It's a very uplifting story. Habitat for Humanity has been around for many, many years and we've got great. Okay, moving on to our next story. Sticking with the coronavirus news, Lafayette hospitals limit visitation, more move a response to spread of the coronavirus by nationwide staffer. Lafayette's largest hospital systems recently announced changes to their visitation policies in response to increased community spread of the coronavirus. Washington Lafayette General announced Wednesday evening that stricter visitation policies will go into effect Thursday morning to contain infections. Our Lady of Lourdes Regional Medical Center announced changes Thursday evening that went into effect Friday morning. Give me 1 second. Let me take a quick sip of coffee here. Excuse me. Just felt a little tickle in my throat there. The changes come as Lafayette Parish and the surrounding areas have experienced an increase in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations after several weeks of lower and more stable numbers. In a joint video address last week, leaders of Washington, Lafayette General, and Our Lady of Lourdes joined the region's top public health officials to share the reality they're facing and how they're preparing for a third wave of COVID-19 indicated. I certainly understand COVID fatigue as much as anybody else does right now. We're nothing more to enjoy some parties with my friends and families, but this is not the time for us to be able to do that, said Amanda Lowe, Chief Medical Officer of Washington Lafayette General. We really need to focus until we can have good efforts in the nation with vaccines or additional treatments that are options for us. We have to hunker down and continue, especially throughout the holiday season. Both Lafayette General and Lourdes announced stricter visitation policies at their facilities for those undergoing inpatient and outpatient procedures, seeking emergency or intensive care treatment, going through labor and delivery, or visiting affiliated clinics. Visitors who undergo symptom screenings will be required to wear masks at all times at both hospital systems. In addition, patients are limited to 1 or 2 designated visitors in most circumstances throughout a hospital stay. Patients who are COVID-19 positive or suspected to have the virus will not be allowed visitors at both hospital systems except in end-of-life situations. Families are encouraged to use alternate means of communication such as video calls or in place of in-person visitation. That way, the way that the public can help us manage the third wave of the pandemic is first and foremost wear a mask, said Dr. Henry Kaufman, Chief Medical Officer of Lourdes. There's no question now within the scientific community that masking is effective at reducing the spread of COVID disease. Also important, social distancing, good hand hygiene, and general awareness of how this disease is going to affect you, your family, and your community at large. Okay, we'll have one more story before the break, in which we do our day in history. The Zodiac or horoscope, as I like to refer to it as, and the funerals today. Two vying to be judged. The Million Parish runoff is December 5th by Julia Gilbo Stafford. A December 5th runoff election will decide who will be the next 15th District Court Judge for Division C in Vermilion Parish. Ricky LaFleur and Tony Frederick, both Republicans, secured their places in the runoff during the November 3rd elections, eliminating the third challenger, Andrew Andy Beasley. Frederick received 40% of the vote during the primary election, with LaFleur trailing slightly with 36%. Frederick, an Abbeville attorney and current commissioner for the 15th Judicial District, said he's feeling optimistic about the upcoming race. Optimistic, I think, would be a good word because I was the leading vote getter, he said, but we're not resting on that. We still have a lot of work to do. What Frederick believes gives him the edge over his challengers is his 18 years of experience as commissioner and his lifelong residence in Vermilion Parish. Acadiana is unique, but Vermilion Parish is very unique, he said. The people who understand the people. As Judge Frederick said, he would hope to integrate technology into the current system and hit the ground running with his knowledge of how all the judges across the district operate. LaFleur, a local attorney and mayor's court prosecutor for more recent Delcom, said he too was feeling confident about the runoff and his position in the race. I'm humbled by the outpouring and support and the votes I have had in the primary, he said. And with the support of people of Vermilion Parish, I will be humbled to be elected district judge. LaFleur hopes that his 28 years of experience as an attorney in Abbeville and his previous position as an appellate court clerk will help him prevail in the race. If elected, LaFleur said he would spend his first days working to clear the backlog of cases and meeting with the other judges to develop a consistent way of doing things. Both candidates said they said what they feel will be the biggest challenge is getting voters in the parish to remember to cast their ballots during the runoff now that the presidential election has passed. We have more contact with the citizens from the parish and the two other parishes as district judge on a day-to-day basis of the floor. So it's a very important race that people should go out and vote. Okay, well, it's almost a half-hour break. I usually do the day in history, the horoscope, zodiac, and the funerals in the area. So we'll start with today in history. Today is Monday, November 23rd. It's the 320th day of 2020. There are potentially 38 shopping days left in the year. Today's highlight in history on November 23rd, 1963. President Lyndon B. Johnson proclaimed November 25th a day of national mourning following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. And on a personal note, on November 24th, 1963, my mother got remarried to my father, Billy, on November 24th, 1963. On this date, in 1936, Life, the photojournalism magazine created by Henry R. Luce, was first published. 1971, the People's Republic of China was seated in the UN Security Council. In the year 2000, a setback for Al Gore, the Florida Supreme Court refused to order Miami-Dade County officials to resume hand counting in the election day ballots. Meanwhile, Gore's lawyers argued in a brief filing with the U.S. Supreme Court the High Court should stay out of the Florida election controversy. In 2001, the UN War Crimes Tribunal said it would try former Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic for genocide in Bosnia, linking him for the first time in the court to the murders of thousands of non-Serbs and the displacement of 250,000 people. Milosevic died in March 2006 while his trial was in progress. In 2012, supporters and opponents of Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi flashed in the streets of Cairo and other major cities in the worst violence since Morsi took office nearly 5 months earlier. And in 2016, President-elect Donald Trump selected 2 Republican women who had unflattering things to say about him during the campaign. South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley to serve as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, and charter school advocate Betsy DeVos to lead the Department of Education. 10 years ago, North Korea bombarded South Korea's beyond Pyongyang Island with artillery fire, killing 4 people and raising tensions between the 2 countries. 5 years ago, the White House urged its allies to step up their contributions to the campaign against the Islamic State, as President Barack Obama faced pressure to show the U.S.-led coalition would intensify efforts without a major shift in strategy. 1 year ago, Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph was fined $50,000 by the NFL for his involvement in a melee that began when Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett pulled off his helmet and hit him over the head with it. In all, the league assessed more than $700,000 for discipline stemming from the brawl. Garrett was indefinitely suspended. Looking at today's birthdays, former Labor Secretary William E. Brock is 90 years old. Actor Franco Nero is 79. Screenwriter Joe Esterhaus, 76. Actor, comedian, writer Bruce Vilanch, 73. Senator Chuck Schumer, Democrat from New York, is 70. Singer Bruce Hornsby is 66 today. Former Senator Mary Landrieu, right here from Louisiana, Democrat, is 65. Actor Maxwell Caulfield, 61. Actor John Henton, 60. TV personality Robin Robert from Good Morning America, GMA, is 60. Rock singer musician Ken Watt from Sister Hazel is 54. And actor Sally Richardson Whitfield is 53 years today. And happy birthday to all those other folks I did not mention, local and worldwide and statewide, whose birthday is today. A very happy birthday. Looking at the zodiac of the horoscope, Sagittarius is out there. Refrain from sharing personal information. Set up a budget that will help you adjust to a change in income. Don't take on someone's problems or responsibilities. For all the Capricorns in the world, you will be able to make adjustments to how you work, earn a living, or handle your personal affairs. Your insight will help you gauge how others feel and what they are capable of contributing. To the Aquariuses of the universe, refuse to let anyone push you in an uncomfortable direction. When uncertainty sets in, turn to something that makes you feel at ease. A physical or creative outlet will help you gain perspective. All the Pisces everywhere. Your persuasive charm will compel others to see and do things your way. A positive change will transpire with the help someone offers. Romance is encouraged. To every Aries, review and revise your financial situation. Know exactly where you stand. What will help you make better decisions. A positive change will encourage you to get involved in a joint venture. To the Tauruses of the world, romance will bring bliss to a loved one. More stability will result if you discuss your intentions and make suggestions that lead to a healthy lifestyle. A surprise will lift your spirits. To the twins of Gemini, someone will use persuasive measures that get you to take on added responsibility. You may want to specify what you're willing to do before you commit. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Cancers, pace yourself, enjoy the process of getting things done the way you see fit. Your personal change boost your reputation and offer insight into what else you can accomplish. Leos, monitor what everything around you is doing. If you don't like the change of direction someone is pursuing, back away and do your own thing. Use your energy productively. Virgos, my verse sign. Try something new. Okay. Change the way you do things and listen to the experts. Maybe. Positive plans will begin to unfold if you nurture a meaningful relationship. Well, I do have meaningful relationships, so that happens. Neighbors, keep an open mind, but don't give in to someone putting demands on you. Problems at home will develop if uncertainty takes charge. Focus on how you earn your living and handle money. Scorpios, and this is the final first sign horoscope of the day. Change your lifestyle to suit your needs. Use your intelligence and ingenuity and follow your passion. A creative pastime looks promising. Romance is featured. And as always, the horoscope is an entertainment feature, not based on scientific fact, folks. Looking at the funeral stadium in the Kenny area, Cherise Bergeron, Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Church, at 700 South Broadway Street in New York at 9 a.m. Gerard Eldridge, St. John the Evangelist Catholic Church, 11 a.m. Howard Frank Jr., that's Howard Funk Jr., the Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist in Lafayette at 3 p.m. Diane Johnson, Sacred Heart Catholic Church at 10:30 a.m. Clementine Kirsch, St. Michael the Archangel Catholic Church at 9:30 a.m. and Francis Nance, Mountain Memorial Funeral Home at 1010 Pandora Street in Lafayette at 10 a.m. Okay, getting back into the news. United Way to honor orthodontist Dr. Melanie Fowler among 10 women to be recognized by Adam Daigle, Acadiana Business Center. Dr. Melanie Fowler, a board-certified orthodontist with offices in Lafayette and New York area, will be honored during the United Way of Acadiana's Women Who Mean Business Awards next month. Fowler is among 10 women who will be recognized during a virtual ceremony on the United Way of Acadiana's Facebook page at 6:30 p.m. on December 9th. Fowler has owned her own practice in Lafayette for more than 15 years and is also a clinical associate professor at the LSU School of Dentistry's Department of Orthodontics in New Orleans. She is course director for the Orthodontic Journal Club and manages orofacial anomaly clinic patients with residents. Fowler is also the president of the Junior League of Lafayette, which she first got involved with in 2006 and later served various roles in the organization. She volunteers at St. Mary Catholic Church as a lecturer and as the RCIA coordinator. She's also a graduate of Leadership Lafayette and 2014 and is a past resident of the top 20 under 40. Fowler is married to Dr. Shane Fowler. They have 2 children, Georgia 13 and Glenn. Alarm sounded on reading deficiencies, neglect of K-2 students called unconscionable by Wills and Tell. After years of neglect, state education leaders are launching plans to improve the reading skills for students in kindergarten, first and second grades, in hopes of repairing a handicap that has stifled educational achievement in Louisiana for decades. We have to give K-2 more attention, State Superintendent of Education Kane Brumman said in an interview. Students from kindergarten through second grade have long been absent from Louisiana's accountability system. There's a major gap in the accountability system at a completely the wrong place, which is where the emphasis needs to be as far as literacy, said Bridget Nyland, Director of Government Affairs for the Advocacy Group Stand for Children. The state's focus on improving public schools has long focused on third graders and older. Louisiana has a long history of accountability aligned to the academic focus on grades 3 through 12 and has recently expanded accountability to publicly funded early childhood programs, according to a document prepared by the State Department of Education. However, Louisiana currently lacks measures to reflect the success of grades K-2. The difficulties of testing such young children is one of the reasons they have long been missing from yearly snapshots on performance. But daycare centers are now subjected to state-issued quality ratings, which means assessing students from K-2 is doable. The issue is also bringing attention between thousands of K-7 grade students are simply unable to read on grade level, which has devastating consequences as they move from grade to grade. This is the foundation of education, said T.M. Mills, president of the Louisiana Association of Educators, one of the state's 2 teacher unions. At that level, students are learning to read so they can ultimately read to learn, said. The shortcoming is the key reason Louisiana is ranked 47th for classroom achievement by Education Week magazine, 48th by U.S. News and World Report, in between 44th and 29th in math and reading among 4th and 8th graders on the nation's report card. A report earlier this year said only 33% of kindergarten students were reading on grade level, 54% of first graders, 56% of second graders, and 53% of third graders. The news is even more alarming in how students are reading by race. While 52% of white kindergarten students are reading at or above grade grade level. Only 38% of Black students do so, according to figures compiled by the State Department of Education. Experts say how a child is reading by the end of the third grade is a key predictor of future academic success. Science shows and data shows that there is a direct correlation between a child's ability to read at grade level and their ultimate long-term achievement in life, says State Representative Royce Duplessis, Democrat from New Orleans and one of the legislature's top literacy advocates. Nearly 161,000 public school students are enrolled in the 3 grades under scrutiny. Tackling the issue of literacy among K through 2nd grade students was a highlight in the series of potential sweeping changes that Brumley outlined to 2 groups last week. One was the Accountability Commission, a panel of educators and others that advises the State Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, or BESE. The other was the Louisiana Association of School Superintendents, which also advises BESE. Both groups endorsed the push to address the issue. We need to have a lot of conversation with stakeholders and BESE members about something like this, Brumley said. Under current rules, students are expected to be tested within the first 30 days of each school year with specific assessments for students in kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grades. Changes in how students are screened for reading abilities at the start and finish of the school year is one of the possibilities. Pinpointing student progress over the school year so children are prepared for the 3rd grade is another. John E. Weinwell, President and CEO of the nonprofit Center for Development and Learning, said the latest effort dovetails with plans for $2 million in new state aid to improve skills. The money will fund a pilot project in up to 12 urban and rural school districts. Up to 1,500 teachers will get coaching and professional development from a dozen literary coaches. Bible Cities Group is also working to improve parental health for students at home and expanded training for current classroom teachers in the science of reading. We applaud Dr. Brumley and his team for being intentional in addressing this resource gap and are working with them to identify specific areas of greatest needs, he said in an email. Nearly 1 in 3 public schools serving students from kindergarten through 8th grades, that's 31%, carried a C rating by the state in 2019. Stanford Children's Need notes that 60% of students in C-rated schools are typically reading below grade level. That is horrible, and that is unconscionable, she said. Woman takes on LSU in records suit. Woman takes on LSU in records suit. Ex-student wants full report of misconduct made public by Andrea Garland, staffer for the advocate. Last week started with Samantha Brennan's image being published in newspapers across the country as she spoke out for the first time, saying LSU had mishandled her 2016 report that star running back Arias Guys had taken and shared a partially nude photo of her without permission. It ended with Brennan flying to Baton Rouge after her story helped galvanize hundreds of protesters who marched for LSU's campus, demanding that university officials do more to prevent and punish sexual misconduct on campus. Brennan joined them, touting a sign that read, "Support survivors." This week, Brennan will face the next chapter in the fight against LSU. She's sent to testify Monday afternoon in a court hearing on LSU's refusal to release full unredacted police reports that she filed after her encounter with Guys. After Brennan and USA Today, which broke her story this week, filed a public records lawsuit against the university, LSU released some police reports this week. But the reports do not include Guys' name, and LSU has continued to redact names of suspects, witnesses, and victims in the police reports that it has released to the public. Brennan called the reports that LSU did release to her short on details, names blacked out, a slap in the face. "I just want to show proof to anyone who doesn't have proof," Brennan told the advocate. She sees her 2016 police reports naming Guys as a key link in a larger web of women who have now accused him of sexual misconduct at LSU. A former LSU tennis player who was also at the LSU protest and has chosen not to identify herself publicly has also accused Guys of raping her when she was a student. The former tennis player said LSU has also refused to release Records to her about that incident. A third woman also told USA Today in August that Geis raped her when they were at LSU together. Geis's attorney has denied the rape allegations. The 23-year-old running back, who was drafted in 2018 by the Washington football team, was arrested this August on domestic violence charges. Brennan said she had a gut feeling that she needed to come forward with her story. She has the same intuition about pursuing her case against LSU. I wanted my report to surface to show there has been some formal documentation to back up the allegation I made against Darius Geis and proof that LSU higher-ups did not follow through with their legal obligations to investigate, Brennan said. The harder LSU has fought to keep it from their records, the harder I invited to obtain it. Court records show Brennan repeatedly emailed LSU officials requesting any files related to the report she made on July 22nd, 2016. USA Today requested any and all police reports involving Darius Geis as well. LSU told Brennan she could not receive the files because the statute of limitations to charge Geis in a possible video warriors in the case had yet to expire, but her attorney argues that a bogus claim because there is no criminal litigation pending. And while LSU provided some police reports to USA Today, they failed to include any dealing with Brennan's case, court found said. An LSU spokesman did not respond to recent questions from the advocate about why the university continues to withhold the documents. In the court filings, LSU doubled down on its argument that answering the public records request could amount to an invasion of privacy, and that the university could still reasonably anticipate a criminal case arising from Brennan's allegation from 4 years ago. The statute of limitation on Brennan's case runs for 6 years. The law does not carve out any special allowances for victims to access records, but agencies are also supposed to provide them when there is no reasonably anticipated criminal case. Based on reports provided so far, LSU police did not continue to investigate Brennan's case after her initial complaint, and she said she did not want to pursue pressing charges. LSU has a strong history of public records offenses, but this one takes the cake, said Scott Stenberg, the attorney representing Brennan and USA Today in the public records lawsuit. Stenberg also represents the advocate, the Times-Picayune as well. To deny a victim the right to review her own investigation file is not only legally reprehensible, it's inhuman yet. We have every intention of seeking arbitrary and capricious damages against LSU to the fullest extent of the law. After Brennan discovered in 2016 that Geis shared the photo he took of her and followed up by filing a police report, she left LSU, where she once worked in the football recruiting office. The public records lawsuit she is pursuing with USA Today is scheduled for a hearing on 1 p.m. Monday in State Judge Janice Clark's courtroom. As Brennan said, a crowd of more than 200 others protested on campus. Many voiced concerns that LSU prioritizes star athletes over the safety of female students. The crowd chanted, "Kick them off the team," and signs displayed messages like, "A jersey should not hold more weight than a boot. I will not let LSU push me around anymore, and I want to make sure no one else will get treated like this," Brennan said. Enough is enough. Okay, and other unfortunate LSU athletic cases. This one's called "Parents Astonished by LSU's Inaction. Response to abuse allegations against football player under fire by Angela Gallo." The parents of former LSU tennis star Jay Lewis said Sunday that they are dismayed by how LSU administrators responded to reports that Lewis was repeatedly abused by a football player and that higher-ups failed to properly investigate. Lewis, a highly touted tennis prospect from New Zealand, enrolled at LSU, started playing for the tennis team during the 2017 season. But while Lewis was completing one of the most prolific freshman seasons in program history, as she was described on the LSU tennis roster, she has said she was also facing increasingly violent physical abuse from LSU wide receiver Trey Davis. These reports show that Davis texted Executive Deputy Director of Athletics Virg Asbury on April 14, 2018, and admitted that he hit Lewis in the stomach. Asbury said in a November 18th interview with the advocate that he called Davis after receiving the text message that Davis recanted his confession. However, Asbury acknowledged that he made no further attempt to report Davis, please the university's Title X office or anything else. My wife and I are astonished and dismayed with Executive Deputy Athletic Director Mr. Burge Asbury recently saying he feels comfortable how we handle things in his career is still intact, said David Lewis in a joint statement with his wife, Rosaria. After receiving notification of the result on April 14, 2018, that the abuser had insulted our daughter, Mr. Asbury was required by law to report to the Title X the abuse he was having. He failed to do this. The Lewis family is well known in New Zealand for their tennis prowess. David Lewis is a former professional tennis player. After the USA Today published the investigation November 16 that revealed extensive failures of LSU to respond to reports of sexual assault and violence, LSU commissioned firm Hush Blackwell to provide its past handling and policies around such incidents. But in the meantime, LSU officials have done little to respond to specific complaints about administrators named in the story who were accused of failing to properly respond to reports of domestic violence, sexual assault, and other types of abuse. Jay Lewis said the denial from the Sells family is a blatant lie, accused them of betraying her after teammates reported that Davis was abusing her. David Lewis also said he reported concerns about Davis abusing his daughter twice to Mike Sell in 2017 and said that Mike Sell brushed him off. Davis pleaded guilty to 2 counts of battery on a dating partner and 1 count of violation of a protective order. In this case, he was arrested again in 2019 on domestic violence counts against another woman. Turning to local sports, Class 5A at Acadiana, Class 4A at Carrico earned number 1 seed by Kevin Foote, Sports and Staff Writer for the Avenue. The Acadiana area will be represented by 19 football teams in the 9 select playoff bracket, topped by a pair of number 1 seeds, Acadiana in Class 5A and Carrico in Florida. The Rams will open with number 32 Covington on Friday, but the Bears will receive an unexpected first-round bye as Woodland and Shreveport is forced to opt out Sunday after the bracket was released because of COVID-19 issues. It's just disappointing because that's one less game that this team gets to play, Carrico coach Tony Corville said. The Bears will play the DeRidder Lakeshore winner in the second round. I knew we had a chance to be the number 1 seed because both my offensive line coaches are math teachers, so they're numbers guys, Corville said. Even after we lost to STM, they told me we still had a chance. Much like Acadiana did this past Friday, Corville's Bears rebounded well from their only loss of the season with a 31-23 road win last game. This team is very resilient, going back to everything we've gone through since June 8th, Corville said. The kids were disappointed and knew we had to bounce back. We had a great week of preparation. Likewise, our Rams bounced back from their loss to Catholic Baton Rouge by beating Lafayette High 34-12. I thought we did some good things Friday, as coach Matt McCullough said. I think we can do better at some things. We just have to clean up a few things in a few areas, like not putting the ball on the ground, a few things on special teams. We did a good job at being physical. Covington put 2-5, lost a close game to number 4 Ponchatoula, and beat St. Paul's, which defeated Destrehan earlier in the season. Yes, I think they're a good 32 seed, McCollum said. Kind of spread it out over a little bit. Elsewhere, 2 other area teams settled in the top 4 as Church Point and number 4 in Class 3A, and Moorville slotted number 3 in Class 2A. There's a little bit more of the story left. I just want to say it's 9:55 a.m., which means our audio portion of the news broadcast this morning gets cut off at our TV stations, but you're more than welcome to listen to the rest of the broadcast at our online streaming station, which is Cypress Street Radio, the CYPRESS Street Radio. Go to your browser, punch in Cypress Street Radio, bring up the homepage, click the play button, or go to our YouTube station, which is AOC Community Media. Valorville, it's an especially unusual situation. Coach Terry Martin's Tigers are 6-0, but have spent the past 2 weeks in quarantine. Hopefully it doesn't have too much of an effect on us and we can get our feet under us for the first playoff game, Martin said. It's going to be tough, but hopefully we can get back into some game type shape. Louisville can practice again Tuesday as it prepares for a familiar foe, number 30 Generette. The Tigers began the week and thinking it would be Lakeside, but Lakeside opted out with COVID-19 issues. Ironically, Louisville was supposed to play Generette this past Friday. They have some good-looking athletes, Martin said. They're very physical and very well. I don't think it's going to be a typical first-round game. Church Point coach John Craig Arsenault said his number 4 Bears got a strange first-round matchup against the number 29 Mansfield team, 3-4. It was 15th going into the final weekend before getting upset by Loyola. There's no way that a 29 seed, Arsenault said, it might be the biggest high school team I've ever seen. Like Loyola, Arsenault's Bears have only played one time in the past 3 weeks. I'm definitely happy with the progress of the league, Arsenault said. The schedule hasn't allowed us to find a rhythm. One thing he has done is allowed us to go get healthy a little bit. The opening round will also bring 2 other matchups on Friday. Class 5A, the District 3 5A matchup that was canceled will now be played between number 14 Iberia and the number 19 Southside. In Class 3A, the number 10 St. Martinville will meet number 23 Kaplan in a rematch of the game. St. Martinville won 32-20 on October 30. Friday's first round also features a return to the playoff spot in Lafayette. Lions will host a game for the first time since 2006 as a number 9 seed against number 24 East Jefferson. It's off to the next season, LHS coach Cedric Figueroa said. Our goal was to play in the second season. We wanted to be relevant and be part of the second season. And that wraps up today's broadcast, folks. I appreciate you listening in, and I really enjoyed reading the news to you and all the news and sports and area news and state news that fits into our hour here, Monday to Friday, every 9 a.m., 10 a.m., every Monday to Friday. We bring you the local news live, which is supplied to us in collaboration with the King Island Advocate. We do this for our hearing impaired audience and also for those in our community who don't get the newspaper or have access to the news cycle. And again, we appreciate you listening in. If you want to become a newspaper reader volunteer, you may do so by going to our website, aocinc.org. That's aocinc.org. Go to the volunteer tab and pull down, highlight the section that says volunteer newspaper reading program. Fill out the form, and Miss Mandy will get in touch with you, set you up. All the readers have been doing it from their home studios, which of course I'm doing today. Since we can't go into the AOC studios because of the pandemic, we've been regulated to doing it at our home studios, which is nice. You can do it in my pajamas. So if you're interested, become part of the newspaper reading family. Also, this, as always, this is Bruce Cohen. Will always be Bruce Cohen. I want you to be safe, and I want you to be healthy, and I want you to be smart out there, folks. Just continue to be smart. Stop the spread. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Do all the same we've been doing for the last almost 10 months now. Just know that this thing is still around us, and it's not going anywhere until we get that vaccine. And we're close to getting one, but it could be 4 to 6 months away before it's distributed nationally, and you're able to get a hold of it. So just be safe, really, really safe, and smart. And be kind to each other, as I always say. Be kind to each other out there. We're getting into the holiday season. Just share that holiday spirit throughout the whole year. Just every day, just be kind to those around you. Okay? And I wish you a good day. I'll see you on the flip-flop. Have a great day.